Now we are now live. Goeienaand, good evening, and we are joined tonight, Madame El Presidente and myself, by grumpy old Git, Howard Dembowski. Good evening. You don't drink, but you are making up for it in other ways.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I make up for it in all sorts of other ways, including, I suppose, just peeing everybody off generally.
Well, it's better peeing them off than peeing on them, which is what I was hoping that was going to go.
Well, I'm considering doing that in future. And maybe I should take up that advice and start thinking about pissing all over them, to be very honest with you.
It would make for fun courtroom proceedings. I would pay good money to sit in the public gallery and watch one of the plaintiffs just unzip their trousers and urinate all over everyone else in the room. It would be glorious.
Well, to be very honest with you, I don't actually think that that's too far-fetched, given what's been going on in our courts recently. I mean, for goodness sake, you've had advocates calling judges, or in fact, acting judge presidents, stupid, and you've had attorneys turning around and saying "fuck you" to a judge when she hands down an order. So it's been quite an education recently, to be very honest with you.
Well, I'm glad you're here tonight, because we were going to be a gruesome twosome, and you've told me more than one occasion you would like to grace our what do you call it, our stream, and now we've got you.
And just talk shit for a change, rather than all the serious stuff that I usually talk about. Although I think there is one serious issue that I would like to talk about this evening, and I think I made you aware of that. I don't know if you posted the link in bottom end there for people to go and watch a traffic cop laying into a motor journalist. But I think that it's high time that our Metro police officers in particular, and law enforcers in general, became aware of the fact that they're public servants and we're not their servants.
No, I have not, in fact, posted a link to the YouTube video, but for everyone else's benefit, I will do so, just to keep you all, or what's the word, get you all on the same page. It was a case of the guy was pulled over, and as opposed to just being issued a fine or being treated professionally, the cop kind of used it as a let me give you a dressing down opportunity, which, I mean, isn't the worst part of it, but yeah, there are major problems with the interactions between civilians and law enforcement, mostly from their side in.
Well, I think that you should apply to Durka for a job as an ambassador, because you're surprisingly diplomatic.
No, you know why? It's because I haven't had enough whiskey yet. And just to say to the audience, hello everybody, and if you want to chirp Howard, you have to super chat it. Okay, we are monetizing.
That's not why I came along here. I came along here to talk a bit of shit with people. But
exactly.
In any event, the thing is, and please, if you expect me to act in the same way that I would act in a courtroom right now,
no.
That's an unreasonable expectation. Certainly, by judging the kind of interactions that you guys usually have, I think that would be completely out of place in this type of platform.
And thank God for that. And just for the benefit of the audience, the reason I have funny facial expressions is my dog is chewing my hand, and it hurts a little bit because he really gets his teeth in there. So I think let's start with a summary of the week. It's Thursday now. Maryke, how was your week, by the way, since we're on the topic of...
It was lazy. It was a lazy week. I had the first three days of the week off to do some studies, which didn't go so well. But I'm well rested now, hopefully. And
in case your employer is watching, she's well rested. She's ready to go back to
I'm
work.
well rested, and I'm sober, and I'm not sick. I don't have the booger flu or any such things. And things are quiet on the bushveld front. No storms, no rain, nothing.
No old ladies reporting you for not wearing a mask and all that sort of good stuff. That's disappointing.
No.
The most exciting thing that happened to me this week is I sold a guy a Glock, and I think I finally got the Rona because my throat was sore on Sunday night, and I had a nice head cold on Monday, which means I couldn't go to gym and I couldn't go do my karate, which annoyed me. And now I'm getting better again. So I suppose that's bog standard for it. I miraculously didn't die. I suppose we could all be thankful that I'm still here. Narrow escape. Might still die. And you, Howard?
Well, if a sore throat and a runny nose and a head cold are actual symptoms of this thing, then I've had it like 4 times already.
Wow.
It lasts like a night or half a morning, and then it's over.
Wow. Well, let me just warn you, okay? And there's no need for me to wear any muzzle, but I'm a smoker, so I cough. It's got nothing to do with the dreaded Rona. And, it used to be that you used to cough to cover up a fart, but now you have to fart to cover up a cough. So I'm doing quite a lot of farting in public, I'm afraid to say. And guess what? I've been teaching people in Checkers and Woolworths that their masks are not really worth much.
Good job. I do not recall you telling me about your bean eating habits, but I mean, you have to weaponize what you've got.
Yeah. The only problem is that when you get to my age, although I'm not that old, I'm a lot older than I look. When you get to my age, you should actually start taking notice of these things, of never trust a fart, because sometimes it can actually turn around and bite you in the most embarrassing ways.
Oh, it will bite you in the ass.
Yes.
Something like that.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, this week I spoke to a client and I said, I apologize. I really need to get my ass out of my head as opposed to the other way around, which no one picked up on until it was too late. So thank God for small mercies. But there was somewhere I wanted to go. Oh, Howard, I love your two-tone shirt you're wearing.
Thank you. Thank you. This is my Buddhist shirty,
you could totally go farm in Tabazimbi with that.
You see, I can even speak Roman. This is my Buddha.
It's too blue. We don't do blue. We only do khaki.
Well, this is fantastic camouflage around here. Okay, trust me. People think that you're a bloody metro cop, especially if you go and wear it with khaki pants and hobnail boots and all that kind of stuff. People can get a bit of a skrik, eh?
Yeah. So I just need to say to Seppi Tank that yes, indeed, Howard is a professional at this, especially on other people. You
yeah, absolutely. I tend to piss the wrong kind of people off, and I don't recommend it as a career to anybody.
No, well, that makes 2 of us. I think the only person with sensible career decisions here is Maryke in the middle. Which is a position that you're now used to on the show.
Well, apart from riding a lawnmower, what do you actually do, Maryke?
I'm a mine seismologist.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so
they needed you in Cape Town. I mean,
Yeah, pretty much.
and Port Elizabeth. I think over the weekend, wasn't it?
It was definitely CT, because the reason I know about it is because everyone here lost their minds, and I felt not a thing.
It was off the coast, so it's not really my expertise because I'm localized on the mine. I actually forgot to look to see if my network picked up the thing in the Cape, because it picks up things in Botswana and it picks up things in Stilfontein. But I think the Cape might be a bit too far.
That was just the first step to our secession. Not only do we want out of the Republic, we actually want physically to separate from the continent. And by the way, just want to say hi to Joe Emilio, because he is here. And no, I'm not avoiding you. I'm just terrible at communicating, which is actually not funny. Yeah. So good evening, Joe. Good to see you here. Whatever happened to the safari suit? This was before my time. I can't remember what happened to it.
I'd like to know too, because hey, them long socks with the comb stuck in the side of them. I mean, that was real funky stuff. Although a comb wouldn't help me much, unfortunately, because this bum fluff on the top of my head. It's very disappointing to say the least.
I thought the comb was for other people, because a vast number of bald people do have this comb in the sock on a lot of those old Landbouweekblad Safari Park photographs. So I was always wondering what they were combing.
Well, there's
maybe for the horse.
We're using brill cream, huh? Those same people were using brill cream. Always had their hair kind of slicked back like it was covered in motor oil. And I remember a very good friend of mine's sister telling a friend of hers how to enhance an orgasm by spreading Marmite on cookie, and her friend bought it. And I don't know if anyone else has ever had a cold sore and got Marmite on it, but that's not very kind. But anyway.
Jeremy is here, and he is salty.
Don't worry, Jim. You are being represented.
Actually, please, someone fill me in. What happened?
So, God, Maryke, do you want to tell the story?
The left hates Jim. They report all his videos. His videos get taken down. YouTube doesn't like his artistic impressions in his thumbnails. Vimeo has problems talking about vaccines. So there's just this.
There I was thinking it was all my fault because I happened to say that you can't say "fuck the government" on his live stream, and hey, it wasn't my fault. Jeez, my guilt complex is not.
No, the kiffness killed him by being on his stream. And then he went over to Vimeo, and because he talked about COVID vaccines, they pulled that video. and ultimately, Jeremy's mere presence on the stream, just commenting, probably puts my channel in jeopardy. It's like a bad streaming karma magnet.
Well, we're still here, and we are way more below the belt than Jeremy can ever hope to be.
Well, whatever you do, talk about 5G, for God's sake, please. We don't need to be nuked.
No. And apparently, so you can't talk about 5G and vaccines in the same sentence either. What else do we not allowed to? But ultimately, I think it's Jeremy's thumbnails.
You can. I had 5G signal the other day when I went to get my vaccine. That's actually acceptable.
Very good. Look, I haven't got a tin hat. We'll see.
So I think we can safely establish that it's not Jeremy's topics; it's his thumbnails. Okay, Jeremy, you need to get better titles. You need to get better thumbnails, for fuck's sakes. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely the titles, buddy.
I don't think the people bother to actually watch the videos to judge the content, because just because there's vaccine in the title doesn't mean it's the COVID vaccine or the measles vaccine. You can talk about rabies for dogs or for people. Vaccines are not limited to COVID-19. And if you look at the regulations, the guidelines on YouTube and Vimeo, they say that you cannot give misleading information about vaccines, specifically vaccines, nothing about medications, supplements, herbal stuff. It's specifically vaccines. So,
okay, but what do they define as misleading?
I don't
well,
know.
probably
Anything
me.
that doesn't come from a government is misleading.
No, probably me. I'm a pro-vaxxer. I mean, the fact is that I have my flu vaccine faithfully every year, and I have done so for the last 25 years. The last couple of years, I've had the pneumococcal vaccine. I wonder if I'm allowed to say that. And thank God.
Just don't put the emphasis on the wrong syllable when you say it, and we should be fine.
Correct. And thank God, I haven't suffered the kind of symptoms that I suffered back in 2018, where I nearly goddamn died of something very similar to this so-called dreaded Rona.
Well, the flu does kill people. I think this is something that we've forgotten with the hysteria. The fact that like 12 to 16,000 and in the bad year up to 20,000 South Africans do die from influenza. It's like a thing. It happens. I mean, far more of us die from cardiovascular disease and TB every year, but I mean, that's just...
Yeah,
no, I haven't had my flu shot in 11 years. And since the H1N1 vaccine came out, and narcolepsy was one of the side effects. And I was just like, no, I'm not willing to take that risk. So I stopped having the flu vaccine. And I've never been sick in 11 years. I've never had the flu.
Yeah, but that's probably because you live in the middle of nowhere, to be very honest with you. I mean, Taba, for Christ's sake, I had to look it up on the map, to be honest with you. So what can we say?
I was going to make some sort of golden point about this, and I forgot what it was. But to circle back to Jeremy, the only platform that is safe for you and your thumbnails is Pornhub. So just open up an account there, stream on there. You should not be banned too easily, because a lot of
you won't get banned for your titles either.
Exactly.
But sorry, but it's a crying shame, and I don't know if how many other people watch, but Dr. David Klatzer is one of the most fascinating human beings on this planet, and he almost dominated Germ's channel for a long while, and the man has a wonderfully dry sense of humor. I remember his one saying that I swear to God, I just got a very horrible judgment. Yes, Jim, exactly. Fuck all. But I'd just been handed a very horrible judgment, and David Klatzer turned around and said, "Look, if you want justice, go to teasers. But if you want to get really screwed, go to court." And those words were prophetic, and I swear to God, it just made a fantastic day out of a really crap day. So yeah, I can't wait for him to, or Jim to ramp up again, if that's even possible. I mean, for God's sake, are they going to allow him back on? Do you get kind of relegated to the naughty corner, or do you just get completely banned? Are we living in the age of the national apartheid a la YouTube now?
Yeah, we pretty much are. But he started a second channel, which allows him to stream again. But yeah, so I was actually on his first stream on his new channel on Tuesday morning. That was really fun. Quite enjoyed that. And I just want to say hello, Ringo from Germany, who stumbled upon our channel. He was one of the 2 randoms that came in a couple of weeks ago that just happened to find our channel on YouTube, and he enjoyed his time with us. So thank you for tuning in again. I appreciate it. Jeremy says Klatzau's coming back. I'm also
Fantastic.
a big fan of David Klatzau's work. I think the guy does awesome stuff.
Well, are you called Germ Warfare 2.0 on the National Apartheid's YouTube channel, YouTube platform?
He is indeed. That's his new one.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Well, I look forward to that. I really do.
We'll probably talk about guns.
The old one is still
soon.
there, but it's not live stream enabled. But
you want to
the
talk
old
about
one still has its
No
videos.
problem.
Yeah, because you're a gun owner, Howard.
Excuse me?
I said,
are we making public statements here to my friends and not so much friends?
Well, they better
Yes.
know that when they come for you, you're not going to be easy pickings for the bastards.
No, far from it. Yep, I've been a gun owner since my very early teens, and I would rather go out without any clothes on than without my trusty little Chapter 45 next to my hip.
What is okay? So just to establish, are you a cult man?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Sorry.
Are you gonna scratch?
Sorry,
Are you gonna scratch my itch and tell me what you have?
I have a Glock 21.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay, and
I'm sorry,
fortunately-
Maryke, you're a CZ girl stuck between 2 Glocks.
Okay, here's the fortunate part.
Don't forget
It's a
the
Glock.
baby eagle.
Well, we can all dream, to be very honest with you. But the thing is that I'm very fortunate because it's a Gen 1 Glock 21. So, in other words, it doesn't break. Like the rest of them do, I'm afraid to say, Mr. Glock fan, to my... Hang on, which are you?
Maryke's enjoying this far too much.
Which is an unfortunate
You know
thing.
what I say about Glocks, so...
I was absolutely devastated when I heard that, and I thought, "Oh God, no!" Because I happened to hear it from a friend of mine who happens to be a Springbok archer and a champion shotist as well, and she told me that she had so much shit with her Glock 21, and then I found out it was Gen 3, and I said, "Oh God, the same thing is going to happen to me." I mean, I've only put about 2,500 rounds through my Glock 21, and she says, "Oh no, that thing's fine." So apparently the Gen 1s don't break, but the Gen 2s upwards are just full of it.
Well, I actually dispute that, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Hello, Darren. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. And you've got my contact details, so I can help you with the process to get you legally on. The Gen 3. So Brian, who unfortunately couldn't join us tonight because he is actually like knee deep in work. Brian owns a Gen 3. Owned a Gen 3, and Brian is the most heavy duty user of equipment I've ever met in my life. He does not do this fine motor skill business. Brian is all about gross motor skills and bashing the shit out of things. The fact that Glock could build a product that is operator proof for Brian says to me that there is a lot more behind the engineering of that than I think. But the Gen 1s are stunning, and they are absolutely, as Rick says, Gen 1s are collector's items these days. I mean, they are absolutely flipping well-made, wonderful guns.
Well, you
really
can
are.
forget about it. It's not for sale. But anyway.
See, Daniel is here with you, Maryke. He's
Look, to be very honest with you, my first service pistol was a CZ, and never did me wrong. Trust me. No, hang on.
Okay.
What was that? We like Land Rover owners. Listen, you know that a friend of mine drives one of those damn things. Okay, took it for a service, and a week later, customer service actually called the oak back and said, "Tim, how's the oil leak?" And he said, "What oil leak?" And they said, "Bring it back, we'll give you one."
Now,
yeah, what can we say?
I grew up around 3 Land Rovers, of which one is a 1980 Series 3. And I can unequivocally state that if a Land Rover isn't leaking oil, it doesn't have any. So
pretty much,
yeah, you need to refill that shit. But the new Defender isn't a real Land Rover. I mean, it really, and I said it's like a soccer mom / hairdresser car. It's not like, it's a sort of thing ANC politicians and Nigerian drug lords would drive. I mean, I wouldn't be caught dead in one of those things, because a Defender has to have the spare wheel on the bonnet. It has to. Otherwise, it like the aesthetic doesn't work for me. There is something about the spare tire being on the fucking bonnet of the car, of the Land Rover, that and just that absolutely unaerodynamic, fuck the world box shape of the thing. That works for me. And I don't know.
And whatever anyone does, do not make the mistake of thinking, hey, listen, this Mahindra thing looks kind of like an old Landy. Okay. Have you seen one of those things when it flips onto its hood?
No, but I'm sure
you've never seen anything like this. I can tell you now, there is no cabin integrity at all. Okay. It squashes flat, just like it's been through a junkyard compressor. It's unbelievable.
So it's got fuck all structural integrity then.
Absolutely bugger all. Absolutely bugger all. And I don't know how the hell anyone survives crashes and those things. Speaking of which, I mean, survivability in a crash is the most important thing that anybody should be considering when it comes to a car. Just like reliability when it comes to a firearm is the most important thing.
You need at least 6 airbags. At least, minimum.
Yeah, but you need a lot more than that, to be very honest with you. You know, I mean, did you know that these things called Datsun Goes now come with airbags? Well, bloody fat lot of use that is. They have a Euro NCAP 0-star rating because they just fall to pieces in the crash. So, hey, you're going to fall to pieces in a comfortable pillow.
I've rented those a few times, and they're like that duck egg blue. And I get into the thing, and I'm like, you know what? This is probably the most dangerous thing I've ever done in my life, is getting one of these cars to drive it, because I knew of the 0-star rating. I'm like, it's got fuck all going for it. Just as a matter of interest, David Grobler is driving has a 1923 Camel Trophy Series 3. Would you please mind send me a picture of this thing?
I can show you why you need 6 airbags and what happens when a Chevrolet Cruze meets a Tata Indica.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to share your screen?
Let's do that.
By the way, are you related to Stuart Rolfe? You have a very similar vibe, Howard. I have no idea who Stuart Rolfe is.
I have no idea who Stuart Rolfe is.
But you are clearly not. Oh, he's an advanced tactical firearms instructor in Western Province. No, then you're probably not related to him.
No, not guilty.
But if Stuart Rolfe was ever in Rhodesia, then yeah, that's probably where the similar vibe comes from.
Yeah, they made us kind of different in that country. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what's happening. Can you see my screen?
Oh, wait a second. Hang on. I can do this. One moment. Boom. There you go. What happened? What are we looking at?
This was my cruise.
Oh,
that was a head-on collision.
Yeah, okay, but what about the Tata Machans?
That one is not here. It's not in the.
That's
photos.
right. It evaporated.
And that's a Chevy, which is basically Korean, isn't it? Wait a second. Go back to the really cool sticker on the back. What was that?
This is my stick dinosaur.
That's awesome.
Let me just see if the other ones are here.
You must tell me if I must just unshare the screen so that we don't see all your weird and wonderful stuff. Okay.
No, it's not in this one.
Mahindras from India, they just reincarnate.
I'll see if I can. I'll find the Tata. Yeah. It's on here somewhere.
That made me laugh harder than it should.
I think you're going to have more difficulty finding that Tata than you think you are, because seriously, no.
Land Cruisers or Land Rover recovery vehicles. I will take that shot.
No, Toyotas are.
Toyota Prados are Land Cruisers or Landy recovery vehicles.
By the way, just to answer Christian's question, appendix in a waistband, but that's me because I'm a millennial. Other people have, I presume Howard carries in the 4 o'clock-ish strong side.
You can presume whatever you like.
Okay, it's for him to know and for us to find out.
No, you don't want to find out.
You don't exactly would know.
Because and I think that's something that very few people actually address, and that is the issue of, if you know that I'm carrying a firearm, it's because you see the muzzle flash.
Exactly. Properly concealing it is probably one of the primary considerations of choosing your carry position on your body. I like appendix because it's one of the few ones that allows me access to it whilst driving. Easier access. Ultimately, if you choose a different body position to carry on, as long as you are proficient and trained in getting to it, then you're probably not going to have an issue, regardless of if you're sitting or standing or wherever you are.
Yeah, you see, some of us are Jewish, and we have a bit of a problem, even though our parents are rather optimistic when we're born. They chop half of it off before they even know how much we got. Okay, but appendix carry doesn't really work for me.
It's not really something for newbies unless you it's something that you really have to have very, very well developed trigger finger discipline. For the simple reason, if you fuck it up, drawing or reholstering, you either shoot one of your testicles off, which is okay, you can live without it, or you blow a hole in your femoral artery, which is a much bigger
undesirable
problem.
You don't want that.
Very, very undesirable. No. You don't want that. No. So you can't be in a carry position. It comes with a lot of understanding, self-discipline, and so on and so forth.
The other night, I heard you speaking about your, and I think I have it right, FN with iron sights. Is that Fabrique Nationale?
That's it. The old FAL,
You,
and
you lucky son of a bitch. I had
I've
to
got
leave
a
mine behind. I had to
Do you
leave
wanna
mine
come-
behind when I left Zim. And
Do you want to come shoot mine?
second
Because
my
it's
AK.
got a Rhodesian receiver on it. Well, let me rephrase
Oh.
it. So when the SADF, well, the South African government sold a whole bunch of these rifles to Rhodesia in the 70s, they sanitized them, Moss, and I say this in inverted commas, so that if they were ever like ended up in enemy hands or something, they couldn't be traced back to South Africa. So what they did is they took a fucking Dremel or equivalent, and they took the South Africa the markings that proved it was manufactured in SA under license from Fabriek Nasional off. So they Dremeled the serial numbers or the manufacturer's markings off, and there was a big national emblem on the magazine well that had the whole South African coat of arms on it. So they cut a round disc in it, but you could still see the pieces on the outside just barely sticking out where the emblem was. But they cut a disc in the magazine well so that you can't see the South African coat of arms, and they sent this across the borders. I also know where these things come from, but it's pretty cool. It's got a brand new barrel on it, but the receiver is still stock Rhodesian stock.
As I say, that's just I don't
Shoot
know.
it.
That and my my AK-47. I mean, I was issued with an AK-47 as well, and you couldn't break those things, by the way. Okay, you need to take care of, you need to make sure it's well oiled, well cleaned, and all that kind of stuff, and that's why our Gandangas did a little bit better than us sometimes. Your late dad, fan-fucking-tastic. Good God, do I look dead?
Okay, I found
Do you
the
find
data. Yes.
Okay, gooi. Okay.
Share screen.
In die bushes over there.
Is it in pieces? It must be. It must have been like atomized. Let's go. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yes, that's about right. That's about right. And I'm taking it there were no survivors. I'm taking it there were no survivors.
I was the only one driving my car. The Tata's driver died on impact. One guy died in the hospital, one passenger, and I think another one died later on as well. The Tata driver was trying to overtake a truck. So while I was going this way, he just came out from behind the truck and just smashed into me. So it wasn't like he was coming from afar. He was literally out from behind the truck and into my car. There was no time to react, like zero. Not even time for the adrenaline to spike. It was just...
Yeah.
He was just there, and then there was nothing.
What was your speed at this point?
It was 80. It's an 80 kilometer an hour zone. So and there's always speed cops there. So obviously I wasn't gonna speed. And that was
so
80.
So both of you met at 80. That's quite crazy.
Well, I don't know how fast he obviously needed to accelerate. If he wanted
That's
to
still
overtake
crazy.
the truck.
That's a fucking head
let me bore the shit out of you. Okay.
Go.
Do you know what speed motor vehicles, all motor vehicles, are tested in crash tests?
It's 60.
Yeah, I'm going to guess about
90,
roughly 60.
And I think 100 as well.
64 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
So if your vehicle has a 5-star Euro NCAP safety rating and you drive it at 180 k's an hour, just understand that you're driving it 3 times faster than the safety rating. And there's this old saying that you should never drive faster than your guardian angel can fly. No, and trust me, you shouldn't. I know. Look, I was wild in my young days. I think I was probably wilder than you. I mean, I remember driving around.
About young days, Howard, you're still practically a fucking spring chicken. Like,
listen, when I came out of
if
the
you
bloody
if you didn't smoke so much, you'd look like your real age. For fuck's sakes.
Well, that's my sin. I don't drink bloody alcohol, unfortunately. I used to. I mean, when I came out of the cops, I was a bloody little rebel. I came to this godforsaken shithole and bought myself a VW Golf GTI 16 Volvo, and I thought I was the Mania in that thing. What I didn't realize was when I bought it secondhand that they'd put retreads on the goddamn thing. I'd been trained in the police to drive at an average speed of 200 kilometers an hour for 650 kilometers in my high-speed training. So I thought, hey, I'm a great driver, which I think actually proved itself because at a minimal little speed, okay, of around 200 kilometers an hour, on the ring road in Johannesburg, 5 people up in my VW Golf, in the dead of night, pissed out of my tiny little skull. Yes, I'm admitting I committed a crime, but hey, come after me now. The fact is that the entire tread came off one of my back wheels. And, you know, I just thought, what the bloody hell was that? It sounded like someone was shooting at me. And it's you know, it was absolutely awesome. But in those days, I was drinking a bottle of tequila every night when I went out on a jaw. I wasn't an alcoholic. I was just a piss cat. And
you survived that.
And I survived that.
Listen, was that a Golf 1 GTI or was that a?
No, that was the Golf 2 or 3 GTI 16 valve. Okay, executive, because it had windy windows that you press buttons for instead of windy windows that you went windy. And you know, I later discovered, and people might want to bear this in mind next time they decide to go and buy a VW. That the VWs have appalling survivability statistics, particularly in this country. So, hey, you know, if you want to be safe, be an old fart like me and drive a goddamn Volvo XC90.
But wait a second. So the survivability statistics, is that like a per capita thing, or is that in absolute numbers?
It's in respect of serious crashes, okay, in this country. Okay, so you'll see in your serious crashes where there are VWs involved in it, you're kind of in trouble, especially the Golf ones. You're in deep trouble if you crash one of those things.
Yeah, I got. I'll tell you. Just Bernard, I'm glad your son enjoyed shooting my effing fell. He's welcome to do it anytime. Like, you just tell me when. The coolest thing is Bernard's kid. My next door neighbor is teacher. His teacher. We figured this out at the shooting range. It's awesome. Yeah. So whenever he wants to bunk school and come shoot FNL with me, I'm pretty sure we could arrange a hall pass for him. I got T-boned on New Year's Day 2004 in Port Alfred. I was in a Golf 1 by Toyota Hilux, and it hit me on the rear right passenger door. Probably at also about 80 to 90 k's an hour, but like 90-degree angle. That was not a fun crash. I think the entire car bent like a banana, and I think if it struck me on my door, I may have been dead, if not definitely dead. No airbag popped out because obviously the impact was perpendicular. Is that the correct word? As opposed to head on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, the Golf 1 is not it's better than an Uno, and it's probably better than the Tata, but probably not by much.
Tata, after my accident, because this was the most serious accident that I've been in. This was accident number 5. and well, it nearly
She's
killed
like-
me.
Good God.
Is that because you
And,
grew up in Kempton, or was that got something to do with Zimby? I need to know.
It's got something to do with other drivers.
Yeah,
None of my accidents were my fault. Actually, they were all the fault of the government, except maybe one or two. But anyway, so after my accident, I watched crash test videos to try and figure out what happened, because what I experienced and what the people behind me said happened wasn't the same. People that were behind me said I swerved, and I was like, there was absolutely no time to swerve. I mean, our cars the headlights were like looking at each other, but people said I swerved. So maybe my guardian angel was just a little bit faster than me that day. And the crash test videos, actually, it helped a bit, because it showed you just how incredibly fast your airbags deploy. It's insane. I mean, your car is crumping like a millimeter and the airbag is already in your face. And surprise, surprise, there were 0 videos for Tata. 0 crash test videos.
and,
So yeah, from there on, I was just like, no, at least 6 airbags minimum, and also obviously a 5-star Euro NCAP rating and the Aussie rating thing as well. I just replaced my cruise with a new one. So.
If you have a high nanny state safety rating, then you're probably good. I think my Subaru has 7 airbags, so I'm probably okay. And just to clarify to Raul, yes, I was at 43, but I wasn't drunk. I was hungover. It's probably a small difference.
It's actually the same thing, believe it or not. I mean, unfortunately for my sins, I get to lecture people on the sins of driving under the influence of alcohol. And, it comes as a surprise to a lot of people that in the UK, the vast majority of drink driving arrests happen on the way to church on Sundays.
Wow.
Because people go on a bender on the night before. They're very, very well disciplined in the UK. They will not drive while they perceive that they're under the influence of alcohol. But the next morning they get up and, having gone to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, completely pissed out of their tiny little skulls, and head off to church like good little Christians do. Not like us Jew boys. We don't do that. And
you go on Saturday, right?
something like that. We also sing Christmas hymns. Remind me to tell you that just now. But the thing is that alcohol stays in your system for an incredibly long time. It takes a long time for your system to dispose of that alcohol and metabolize it. And the net result is that so many people who are busy going out on Sunday mornings to go and show what wonderfully religious people they are seriously under the influence of alcohol. And they are literally driving stone drunk. So,
that's pleasant to know. So me sleeping in on a Sunday morning and missing church is actually good for my survivability.
Absolutely. If you want to live on our roads, you should regard everybody out there as, number one, being bombed out of their skull, either on drink or drugs, and number two, being a homicidal maniac that wants to kill you. Because quite frankly,
that's good
if you don't drive like that, you're going to become a statistic. And some people might become statistics 5 times or more.
Well, you have to. Well, in my defense, this last one, the last accident was the first one that I was driving. The other one, other 4, I was a passenger. So okay. Yes, maybe I do attract accidents.
But your reactions were obviously very good. because if you have a look at that photograph, you can see that actually wasn't a head-on. That was a partial frontal impact. Because if it was a head-on, your bonnet would have been compressed evenly all the way in.
Yes, that's why I went to look at the videos, because that's not what I remember doing. I do not remember swerving. I don't. There was I remember not reacting. I remember listening to the song on the radio, and that was it. So
what are you chuckling at, Mister?
No,
Mr.
Ronnie's saying Maryke is an accent.
I don't know Ronnie. I've never heard of him, so whatever.
Yeah. But we need to get Howard to say something from Star Trek. Now, you're a Star Wars fan. All that I know is that Jean-Luc Picard says something tea Earl Grey hot or something along those lines. Make it so. So
Jesus, you know what? I'm not a fan of any of that shit, to be honest with you. Okay.
I am the
all right.
Of Borg. Resistance is futile.
Give me up, Scotty. There's no intelligent life down here. Yeah, but you know, I promised to tell you a little story about us Jew boys singing Christmas hymns, because we genuinely do. You know, when I was a youngster, my late dad, you know, taught me to sing Christmas carols. Okay, because you know, the little Methodist kids went to this kind of pre-midnight service, and they sang hymns, and they praised the Lord and all that kind of stuff. And then the little Catholic kids went at midnight to this thing called midnight mass, and they sang hymns and they praised the Lord and all that kind of stuff. And me and my dad went to our toy factory, and we looked at all the empty shelves, and we sang, "Oh, what a friend we have in Jesus."
You know what? That is actually that is the best reason to sing a Christmas fucking carol. And it's so yeah. Thank you, Rick, for this wonderful comment. Where were we going, Maryke? You've gone awfully silent in the middle.
We were talking about car accidents.
No, you didn't.
That's it. And then drunk driving and going to church on a Sunday.
Oh yeah, but hang on. Let's get back to this car thing, because you talk about Euro NCAP 5 and Australian NCAP and all these NCAPs and all that stuff. But you know, the strangest things I've seen. Okay, first off, I'm an ex-cop. Don't shoot me for it. Don't shoot the messenger. But not from this country. Okay, I would never ever have sunk solo. But I've also worked with a lot of cops here locally, and one of the strangest things that I saw. Thanks, Rebellious Ruth. Same to you. One of the strangest things I've ever seen was a guy driving a Mercedes-Benz. I think it was an E250. Beautiful car. I don't know if you know how much money the goddamn Germans at Mercedes-Benz have spent on safety, but it's awesome. You can literally crash that thing at 250 k's an hour, and you're probably going to survive.
Okay. A Volvo is still better though.
By a long shot. I'd rather drive my old Volvo than a brand new anything else, to be honest with you at the moment. But in any event, okay, here's this guy driving with his wife and his kid. Okay, the kid is a little baby who is being held on the wife's lap in the front of this car, and both these adults have the seat belts clipped behind their backs to shut up the ping, ping, ping noise. Now, Let me just tell you something about airbags, because Maryke was saying how quickly those airbags deploy. Have you ever seen what an airbag deploying in somebody's face does when that person is not actually wearing their seatbelt? And it won't go off unless your seatbelt is plugged in. So you're a complete prick for bloody doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
And you need to, I mean, I said to this particular individual, I said, dude, not only is your baby going to go straight through that goddamn windscreen if you have to stop in a hurry, okay? But additionally, you don't give a shit about yourself. Never mind your baby, okay? The fact is that when those airbags deploy, they're going to rip your face off. So best you do a Nicolas Cage for everybody else, because you know what, it's frightening. People, you know what, with the greatest of respect, yes, someone asked the question whether I drive a Volvo. Yes, I drive a goddamn Volvo, and I'm bloody proud of it. Have you ever seen those things in crashes? I tell you, I've seen lots of them in crashes, and I could not believe the low amount of damage that was done to those vehicles, especially in high-speed rolls and the like.
By the way, so between Maryke and Howard for president in this chat, I mean, you guys will have to figure out.
No, I think not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think Gideon will inform everybody, and maybe he should have warned everybody. There should have been a disclaimer here that says this. Howard is a motor mouth and will not shut the fuck up for anything. But hey, please do me a favor, interrupt me.
Well, no. The cool thing about this is that I think between the two of us, you are possibly, and this might seem an extreme statement, more anti-establishment than me, because whereas I still have theoretical anarchic sentiments about the system being a corrupt shit show, you've actually been on the receiving end of it. And here's just a little bit of a background story. So those of you who don't know, and I hope most of you do know, that Howard is the chairman of Justice Project SA. He went to court recently in his personal capacity challenging Arto. He's going to come on the stream when he is ready to talk about his experience with our justice system, which, if you tuned in at the very beginning and you heard us like unzipping pants and urinating on people in the courtroom, should give you a very good idea as to his present state of mind regarding the courts and justices and lawyers and whatever. And he did this out of his own pocket with nobody else backing him up. Something that I deeply identify with, because the gun rights fraternity is exactly the same. We need to, yes, Mountain Goat has the right thing. Sign up and support Justice Project SA, because ultimately there's a whole bunch of pro-freedom organizations and pro-justice organizations and pro-common sense people. And we all sit around the same campfire. And I mean, we've had long chats, Howard, where we've disagreed on certain things, but we've always managed to thrash it out because I believe we're both eminently reasonable. I just have a little bit more foreskin than you, but maybe not much more. That's the only real difference.
Trust me, I love a lot more.
Do you want me to send you do you want me to send you photos and you can
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Exactly. Let's not ever go there, please, dear Lord.
No.
Listen, this thing about sorry, Howard, societies, people fighting on behalf of other people. Most of South Africa's citizens are too eager to say no, but there's nothing I can do. No, but it doesn't matter. No, but I'm just one person. No, but somebody else is going to do it. There's a boatload of people willing to fight for your rights, and all that you have to do is pay them 10 Rand a month, or share a post, or sign up DRSA, that public participation process, And you don't actually have to do anything. You don't actually have to leave your house. It's just a click on your cell phone. It's a click on your computer. Somebody is actually fighting for you, and sooner or later, all those numbers will add up. I mean,
Exactly.
take Cape Secession, for example. The ULA needs 2 million man-days. They've got 310,000 or something. I'm pretty sure there's more than 2 million people that would like to live in a country free of the ANC. And that's not including only the Cape people. There's the rest of South Africa as well. So if you are a member of the ULA, if you've never heard of them, go look them up, ulacongress.com. See if you agree with what they're saying, give your mandate. If you don't agree with what they're saying, there's also capeexit.org,
Exactly.
which will help you. If that's more your line of thinking, go and support them. They've got 400 and something thousand votes already. Sign up to AfriForum, sign up to DRSA, sign up to Solidarities. Help in the Hunt is helping poor people.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of what they're doing. Help in the Hunt does also
Get
work.
involved with your
something.
local community ratepayers association. If they're worth their salt, go to your local public participation meetings. That's where the stuff is happening. That's where your municipality is telling you exactly what they plan to do with your rates and taxes. And if you don't oppose them, they will carry on doing it. The ANC tells you exactly what they want to do, and nobody is opposing them because everybody is saying, no, my vote won't matter, my voice doesn't matter. Or the other one, no, they will never get away with it. The people won't let them get away with it. The people is letting the ANC get away with it.
Because you is the people, you know. Or sorry, if I can put that even more troglodyte speak, you is the people's, and the people's is you.
Let me give you an example of what lack of participation in public participation processes gives you. And fortunately, people who live in Tabazimbi, where they have shitholes for roads, and people who live in the Republic of the Western Cape, where they don't, will not
everywhere,
really,
but yeah,
will not really be able to relate to this. But here in Gauteng, we have this thing called the Gauteng Freeway Improvement Project, which everybody knows as e-tolls. Now, when the public participation processes were opened for that, there was a public participation that took place in Irene, just outside of Pretoria. Guess how many people attended it? And it was the most attended one.
4.
Yeah, well, that's a few. That's half.
8.
That's 8 people attended it.
Okay, but the e-toll thing was also poorly advertised. It was like in one little classified in one newspaper.
No, they put out massive pamphlets. Okay, they bullshitted him in the pamphlets, but they put out massive calls for public participation. The same thing's gone with a lot of legislation. That's where I've got to take my hat off to Rob Hutchinson with the DRSA, because he spearheaded this process to start public participation in governmental processes and so-called democratic processes. Please don't talk to me about the democracy. It's a democracy. That's what it is. But the fact is that the more people that get involved in your own futures, and I think this is important. If you don't give a shit about your own future, then give a shit about your kids' future, whether you have kids or not, because eventually you're going to have them. And if you
or something that resembles a facsimile of them.
Yes, but if you want this country to be turned into a complete fascist state. Just continue what you're doing right now. You know what they say, that's all that's required for the triumph of evil is for good men and women to do nothing. Okay, that's bullshit. Okay, all that's required for the triumph of evil is that it happens in South Africa.
Yeah,
to be very, very honest with you. And you know, I mean, please don't be fooled by these sudden arrests that have taken place in respect of the asbestos deal and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's
all the small fry.
Yeah, you know, with the greatest respect, if you let it happen, it will happen, and it is happening right now.
And there's a listen, as we are now well over an hour on the stream, and I still need to go eat dinner. I'd like to just leave with shame. Would you like to come back? Would you like to come back, Howard? I mean, obviously, the invitation's open. You're welcome anytime.
Well, it depends on Madam President whether she approves or not. I mean, because ultimately she's got the ultimate say on that, and also obviously on the viewers.
Well, we've got fantastic viewership. 6 p.m. on a Thursday.
Yeah, it was this time on the Thursday night. Like, this beats a Whiskey Friday. Actually, I'm not gonna joke.
Okay. Well, I don't understand. That's probably because of the middle picture here. It's got stuff all to do with this face. I've got a face for radio. There's no doubt about it.
Hey, but you've got the voice for radio as well, so there we go. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. So there's a book I recommend people read, and it's by Norman Cohn, Cohn. It's called Warrant for Genocide, and it really is a summary of how the world got to the situation where the genocide actually happened. I mean, not the genocide, the Holocaust happened. And ultimately, the one thing that stuck out for me in the entire book is he said in 1933, the vast majority of Germans that voted for the Nazi Party were not anti-Semitic. They firmly just believed that all this talk about the Jews are to blame for everything was just talk, and they liked the economic policies of the Nazi Party a lot. And that came to bite them in the arse. And what makes it worse is if you look at the Dr. Mengeles of the world, the overt psychopaths that enjoy doing stuff that's fucking atrocious, we can deal with those individuals because you can isolate them and you can get rid of them. But if all of society accepts it as part of the norm and just sees himself as a automaton just doing their jobs without question, then you create a system of oppression that nobody is willing to stand up against and that no one's willing to question. And before you wipe your eyes out, liberty, freedom, and all the good stuff that we've built civilization on is just gone in the blink of an eye. And we're all complicit in perpetrating that bullshit. So too long didn't read. Buy the book, read it. That's me. That's me out. That's all I want to say. So, Howard, we always let Maryke end it off, but what do you like to say?
Look, I have no profound words of wisdom except watch your backside, because you're not being paranoid. No. The fact is that, unfortunately, there is a lot more out to get you than you think there is, actually. So, just be vigilant and take care of yourselves, take care of your family. And, that's the starting point. And always remember to be kind, except when you're dealing with politicians, in which case you must tell them to fuck themselves, plain and simple.
What Boom. They said.
So now you have to leave us with a trademark, your safe word speech that you do.
What? All right, yes. Remember, South Africa, your safe word is freedom, and you better start using it.
Okay, and on that bombshell, ladies, gentlemen, and others, thank you for joining us. You've been great, and good night.